Hey, Francis, it's great to meet you. Um, we have on board myself, Kirill, and David. Um, Kirill, why don't you tell Francis in a sentence who you are, where you are.
I live in London. So I'm London based and I work here. Yeah, just London.
Okay.
Does
David?
system administration, network administration, and have some web background. David,
Yeah, I'm David.
camera's not working.
Developer. Yeah. You said?
Your camera's not working.
I'm on my tablet. I'm not on my.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I live in Nigeria, and I don't work in Nigeria, so I just live in Nigeria.
Okay. So I'm Francis. I'm also Cameroonian born, but I left Cameroon like almost 29 years ago. I studied in Germany and I have a company in Germany, software development. And I live in Florida with my children and also full-time developer.
Oh, okay.
And write code from home, yes.
So where you live in Tampa or by Tampa?
I am in Bradenton. My children go to IMG Academy.
Where is that?
In Bradenton. Tennis, Bollettieri Academy, tennis.
Yeah, no, Brighton. I don't.
Bradenton. Bradenton. You know, between Sarasota and Tampa, right after the airport, after SRQ.
Between Sarasota and Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know the area very well. I'm north of you, probably an hour and a half.
Where are you? What city?
I'm in Brooksville. I mean, not,
Okay.
today I'm in Stuart, Florida, or I've been in Stuart this week. And
okay.
And you know, I'm a veteran of research and development in group systems and collective intelligence. I don't know how much you know about me. Early World Wide Web developer, and I've been a consultant for various organizations, including financial organizations in the belly of the beast, so to speak. And my last gig, I'm retired now, is in at AT&T Shannon Labs, researching in multi-factor risk quantification and authentication. And then I'm RChain, an active RChain community member. We call them RAMs, RChain active member. Yeah. And I'm, I guess, leading the governance development from a ideation award that we had for 100,000 rev, which we have about 35,000 rev left in. So tell us about your interest in RChain. And
yes, you know, last week in the meetup, we talked about it. It was the first time I was hearing about it. I am very deep in the blockchain world. It started in the academic world. I mentor a lot of bachelor and master thesis in Germany. So I have about 20, 30 diploma theses on fundamentals of blockchains, not this advanced stuff. And I started working also on the wallet like 2 years ago, still working on it. A lot of ideologies too. And you talked about RChain. I wanted to know more about it. I read the white paper and okay, I didn't know who it's written for. It's very technical, but I could go through. I reached a conclusion, so I was happy. And it's very interesting. I never knew about p-calculus, even though I am not a computer scientist from the background. I'm a information scientist, 30% computer science, 70% economics. Even so, I grew up programming Java and doing a lot of Java security stuff for Sun Microsystems. I helped writing some specs there on Java security. So I was deep enough in cryptography to understand what's going on with blockchains. Smart contract was fully new to me. So I learned it 2015, 16, 17 with Solidity. Rolang sounds very interesting. I haven't found any resource to see what it is really and how it differs from Solidity. I saw some weaknesses of Solidity you expressed here in the box. Interesting to know that we can have some such finite, not state machine, but programming paradigm that can allow to be more deterministic and less flawed. And I would like to discover more about this RChain specific advantages to what we have today. I'm seeing at least two domains. One domain is the Casper proof of stake. What is the difference to classical proof of stake? And the other side, really the main difference between Rolang and Solidity. What and why? That are the two key competitive advantages, if I get it. The community looks good, it looks well organized. What I can do before we even get in, I can advertise it to students that are upcoming in the blockchain world because we have a lot of students that go around us. I am personally very busy with proper project to contribute, but what I can do is to push it further down the research stream to growing students, master students, bachelor students, looking forward for interesting topics and maybe route them to you. If some of you are sometimes interested in mentoring students, yes, if not, whatever, because I'm not sure I will have the knowledge to help somebody with this. It looks very technical, but I can at least create the network, help widen the network.
That sounds awesome, man. I mean, we definitely need apprentices. They say Rolang is simple, but it's not easy. Yeah. So, and it's very different. Okay. Solidity is a sequential language, whereas Rolang is a concurrent language. Everything happens at once.
Mhm.
And you can maximize concurrency with Rolang. Now, RChain isn't all the way there yet. Okay, we can, we can take advantage of all the cores in a processor to do everything at once, but generally we have a lot more processes than we have cores in the processor. So the ultimate solution will be hardware solution where we can have like an associative memory, like what do you call those acceleration cards, that can do it, where the memory has logic built into it, so everything is done at once. So I mean, that's the ultimate direction there. And the main thing that makes RChain decentralized will be the sharding, where I can run an RChain network myself, maybe just one node, and then the community can run their own shard.
But when you speak about sharding, what type
it's a separate network, but they'll all be able to work together.
And how do they work together?
Well, basically my there's you have in Rolang we have names and we have processes, and that's all we have.
Mhm.
Okay, and we could use a process as a name or a name as a process, or we can create an unforgeable name, which we can also use, use as a process to where we, processes are data, numbers, strings, lists, sets, any kind of random data can be a process, as well as, it can have operations in it. The main operation is parallel, parallel. Do A and in parallel with B. Okay, and then there's basic operations, which are you want to send to a name, you want to send a process to a name, or you want to read a pattern on a name. And that's really the only things you can do.
So is it
And
sharing the state, or
No.
is there a how is the coordination mechanism?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to give you a little background on Rolang first, so you can
Mhm.
understand the sharding. Okay, the basic operations are read and write, names and processes. That's it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, in a shard, let's say my personal shard, I would, I could use a remote name on the community shard. So when I send something to it, it goes to the the community shard. Now on the community shard, I could have a remote name of something on the main shard, and I could and so when I send, I'm going to send to that on the other shard. So the whole network can work together, and it works together in a way that obeys the rule, is formally consistent with the process calculus, in this case, the row calculus. So the behavior of the network of communicating processors is mathematically defined. Okay, one of the main reasons for problems with Ethernet is that there is no formal process orchestration mechanism.
Mhm.
So it's all done ad hoc, and people make mistakes. They don't know how to do it. And you can't easily make proofs about it, or
Mhm.
you don't know what the behavior is going to be. I mean, if you look at the DAO exploit, I mean, the code didn't really have any bugs in it, but they were able to execute a contract out of sequence. And in a certain number of cases, they could get a conflict or a what do you call it? A race condition.
Mhm.
Okay, where all of a sudden they ended up with money. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but they I mean, they were able to steal the tokens, and then another race condition was used by the white hats to try to get the ETH back,
Mhm.
and but ultimately they forked Ethereum in order to recover the funds.
Mhm.
all the funds. So we have ways of protecting against that. And the math, the formal basis of it means that we can do things that are pretty much unimaginable in legacy languages, for the most part. I mean, you can, one of them, is behavioral typing, which is not implemented in RChain today, but it's what we're working towards in the next generation of RChain. I guess they call the current one Mercury, and the next one is Venus, and Saturn, whatever. I don't know if that was in the white paper, but but because we only have send and receive to a name, we can decentralize this in shards in an unlimited fashion. Okay, the only time you need to go to the main shard is when you need global consensus, which is rare. Okay, consensus in the community is generally good enough, right? And each shard has its own tokens that runs it. So we have a robot shard, robot rev, and it's more or less an experiment. And we would definitely like help from someone like you in managing the robot.net currency and shard, which if managed well, the robot rev could gain a market value. You were using it mostly for testing and, within the community of RChain development cooperation, which is not a legal entity, but just a cooperation of anybody's. It's what do you call it? This anybody who's doing cooperation with our development that involves RChain is considered a member. And there is no central organization, just peer-to-peer contracting.
I have a question. I saw in the white paper that you can consider a fork a shard. What is a huge advantage to existing blockchains, right? If you fork the blockchain, you can just treat that fork as a shard.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, it's not clear what would happen, but I'm not sure that would ever happen. Okay, I mean, if you had the ability to have an Ethereum shard, okay, we could take the ETC fork where we have ETC tokens equal to our Rev tokens. I mean our ETH tokens. When they did the fork, okay, and they're both running, but they can't talk to each other.
Exactly.
Okay, so I mean, if we had a fork with RChain, they could still talk to each other. Okay, you can still interoperate. You can still reference names on either one.
But what token is valid where? I mean, you still have.
Well, each shard has its own token. Separate.
Okay.
Okay, and if I'm going to do a deploy to a shard, I have to have tokens
Of that shard.
of that shard.
Wow. I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds very challenging. I will surely read the white paper a bit again. I will have to read it a second time. I read only one time. to have a better understanding. It's tough for me, but I will sometimes jump into the academies. I hope the Zooms are open.
Yes.
Yes, it's in the morning, and I also work a lot with Europe because I have a company in Germany. So I'm very busy in the morning, Florida time. But when I find time, I will jump in to get more. But when I find time, I will into get more.
I think we're losing you here. You're losing you here.
Is it Kirill or me? Hello?
Yeah, I thought we were losing you, but it could be. I'll mute Kirill just to make sure. Although it's not letting me mute Kirill. I don't know why.
Okay.
Interesting. This host is me. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, if you get a couple of good students in here, we can really show you some stuff in Rolang. But right now,
Yes.
the work studies are not well attended. So it's really, would really help a lot if you could interest some students in it.
I will show some of them, some professors in Germany too, in the domain, and get a look because we do general research in whatever is educational for kids, and looking for challenging stuff like if we can look at languages that are more complete than Solidity, we get a deeper look at the language. The Casper, right? Another question. Casper, what is the difference between Casper proof of stake and a standard classical proof of stake that I know? What does it do different?
And mainly it's leaderless. Or it should be leaderless. I mean, we're not even running leaderless yet. But most proof of stake environments either have a master or they alternate the round robin control, which is I guess considered a weakness by many. And in principle, Casper doesn't need that. And in any case, to some extent, you know, we consider Casper to be a pluggable consensus mechanism. And,
Pluggable.
okay, and we're really looking to create a proof of stake mechanism that is more rooted in the row calculus.
Okay.
Okay, so rather than implemented in a traditional manner, okay, it's implemented using the row calculus.
What would be the advantage of having it inside your row calculus?
Well, for one thing, it could be much faster in principle, and ultimately simpler. But I mean, it's still a research topic. We don't really have a solution yet that is viable. Okay, sometimes mathematically things look great, but when you try to make it real, you run into a brick wall.
Do you have something like a ledger also? So are you working with UTXO based ledger, or how are value represented in the system?
Okay. Are you familiar with Mark Miller's work?
No, I am not familiar with Mark Miller's.
Okay, well, Mark Miller coined the term smart contract back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's associated with the Agoric project, which runs on Cosmos. And, you know, he's a proponent of the object capability model. And, you know, most of the people that come into RChain you know, don't trust any security model other than object capabilities. And right now, Agoric and RChain are the only two that support the object capability security model. But Mark Miller is the inspiration for a lot of the RChain work, as well as Mike Stay. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is that okay, because I was trying to understand. I mean, yeah, there's a smart contract platform with a language. The object has to have a value. If you want to move a set around. The token itself, it is native. We have a value representation. We have to know, is it account based or like UTXO, or is it token based, like, so to say, where we just have tokens that are non-fungible and that moves around. That are things that I try to understand. I could not really find clicking around to see how the chain works, right? And the transaction format, if you have transaction, what format are you using? Are you using something like the Bitcoin similar transaction format that are sequences of bytes that are signed, some of the big Indian, little Indian, everything mixed up? Or is it like in Cardano where we have CBOR, that is a more advanced serialization format that is more accessible to programmers? These are the questions I was having. I couldn't yet identify them because I haven't had enough time to dig through. I will keep digging. Maybe I can find some of them on GitHub, on your work, and try to understand how the chain is built and what makes it different to, I mean, if you have a proof of stake, it means there's a consensus. It means there are some transactions, and those transactions are bundled into blocks, and those blocks are sealed, I assume, at least. That is the classical model of today's blockchain. 95–6% of blockchain are working that way. In the research world, we're thinking about alternative solutions to blocks, right? If you follow on our website, we're looking also at unlimited block sizes or no block size at all, these blockchains, where you can have other type of consensus that allow wide range of transactions to be executed. So we're trying to gather, understand the different models that are on the market, maybe develop new model that might be more suitable for privacy, less traces than the UTXO model that is a catastrophe in the matter of privacy. It's impossible to protect the privacy of account owner, an account owner as transaction move around, right? So I still have to dig through and understand how RChain does the blockchain part, not the smart contract part.
Now let's see. What's your Discord address? I mean,
It was pooch.
pooch.
Yes, you spoke to me on Discord before.
Okay.
It's pooch, P-O-U-C-H, P-O-U-C-H.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's.
I'm not the best Discord user because I'm very old. I also not used to all those new systems.
All right. Well, I put this in the chat. I'll also send it to you.
Very good. I can copy that.
Okay, and let me.
And Mark Miller.
Okay.
Oh no. Yeah. So this will give you a lot of philosophy. I mean, and formally introduction to the way to sort of the philosophy that RChain uses. Although he's really, talking more at a higher level, more generally.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the object capability model applies to both. The process calculus only applies to RChain. Okay, Agoric is still sequential in nature.
Mhm.
Um, and so, a lot of us love Agoric. I mean, Agoric's closer to prime time in this sense than RChain. It's
Mhm.
already doing interchain operations with Ethereum and I think a couple other chains. And we're looking at running an Agoric node as a gateway to do cross-chain transactions and possibly even cross-shard transactions. I mean, that's not developed yet. We're working on it. But to give you a basic idea, and I think the video will cover it a lot better. We could look at the RGUP project. I'll share my screen. And I'm not totally. I'm getting old. I may not remember all of this offhand. But if we look at the mint contract, this is how we make a token, and this is a direct translation of Mark Miller's make note program.
Mhm.
And we create tokens, and then we create purses and we put the tokens in purses. Okay, and it doesn't use a UTXO or whatever, but it ensures. I mean, it's proven that you're not going to lose or gain any tokens in the process.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, the vault concept is a little different from Mark Miller's stuff, but basically each account, each RChain account has a vault, which if they we say find or create here, because you can send coins to an account that's never been used before that doesn't have a vault.
Mhm.
Okay, and then this is the capability permission that you get, that you're going to get from your Rev account, which gives you access to the vault,
Mhm.
to your vault. And okay, well, the transfer is a vault function, vault key, vault channel, right? So, like I said, our chain only has read and a write. Here we're writing to the name vault, Rev vault, which we declared. Well, we read here. For is a wait for, it's not a loop. So we're going to wait for this pattern, which is
Mhm.
one argument, which could be any, which we're not naming. We don't care the value. And a rev byte. So we're looking for a tuple, where we're looking for two values on the rev vault channel. And the rev vault channel is I'm confused now. But I won't go over this in detail. I think that not been a while since I looked at it.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's the basic.
I can understand it. So
Yeah, we would have to look at the vault contract and transfer, which, you know, it's all open source. We have it,
mhm.
but it's, you know, it's based on a capability model. That's about all you can say about it. It's not capability security, so that the security is not outside the program in this sense.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. I
It's,
get
you
it.
know,
Oh,
so,
cool.
so I don't know if that answers, you know, I don't know what other questions, if that answers your question there or not. Probably I didn't
It
give you
it
enough.
it helps. Like I said, I will surely get back to you to ask for another session after
Yeah.
I dig a bit more, because I
And-
sometimes find slots to dig more through your documentation. Then I can collect more questions, because even to ask questions, I have to understand, and to save you time,
Yeah,
get more specific of what on what I want to understand. Mhm.
yeah. Now
Okay.
the Casper stand-up on Mondays tends to be very mathematical and you know, technical.
Monday,
But
8 a.m., right? Oh, it's might be tough for me.
you have the calendar, right?
Yes, I have the calendar. I have a constant 8:15 stand up on Monday too. But
Yeah.
after that, if I dive in and they're still there, I can be there. So I can look.
Right.
Those
Now
guys.
I'm trying to think when would be a good time to have an expert online. The for you know, the more technical questions that maybe I can't answer off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Um,
No, I'm fine. I think I'm a lot of information to process anyway, because it's really totally new to me. I have to get deeper look at this object names, processes, and the operation rate, right? The messaging, the concept. I will get the deeper look at Casper, whatever is there right now, and dig a bit deeper through this Argov and Mark Miller's work. So to have some background foundation, so I can talk about or discuss or ask questions, right?
okay.
Thank you, Jim. Wonderful.
Well, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your project, and then we can call it quits.
Okay. I am working on I'm working on a new wallet. The name is Monday wallet. It happens to be like a French mondial, but it's Monday wallet. Mon is the money in Japanese, and Dai stands for, sorry, Dai stands for distributed immutable assertion lock. That means, oh, wait 1 minute, sorry. So the assertion lock is another paradigm. It's not a blockchain, but an assertion lock, in the sense that we don't have a block, right? But you have a sequence of assertion produced by validators. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is a decentralized ledger.
Yes, it's not a ledger in the sense, because a ledger works on account, right? So if you are
Okay.
working with a ledger, you need an account to maintain the state of the account in the ledger. This is an assertion lock. scientifically. That means you document assertions of all type. I can say Jim is great. This is an assertion, and assign that that is my assertion and document it. It has no dollar value, no numerical value, but it's also an assertion. So the most important is this assertion is documented in a log and it's immutable. And I can do that in a decentralized way. So it's the foundation to build a token system of value and not an account system of value. Meaning in the DAI system, you can have a token that is worth $1 or $1 or $1, and you cannot split it. You can pass it over to somebody that can pass it over to somebody else, but it has an identity, it's non-fungible first. And the whole validation mechanisms is based on the sharding concept that works on partitions based on the identity of the token. So it doesn't matter how many tokens we have in each time window. If we validate every hour, we have an algorithm to find out what group of validator can validate the token, making it very scalable. This is the dial chain, right? The purpose is we're looking for a way to have a highly scalable nano transaction system for web services in general, where you really don't need to wait for a full second to confirm the payment of a transaction. If I'm coming and asking some services, you can just get them done. That is what we're doing with the dial chain. The only purpose of the dial chain is to have not a ledger, but a token transaction system that is very fast and allow us to really have a Web3 where you can exchange very fast and consume services. For example, for Web3 to work, you need relays. My phone needs to talk to your phone and so on. And there's no economy unless you have a chain of value that manages value. And a relay server could be just collecting little dial, collecting and passing over messages, and that's the economy. The wallet we're building on the top is very independent of the dial chain. The project started with a wallet that was so simple that the user of the wallet doesn't know about the private key. And the purpose of the wallet was to allow the common user to own a cryptographic asset without having to take care of the backup or the recovery of the private key. So we use your friend's network in the wallet to back up your keys, or we use multi-sig concept to back up your keys and sign your transaction, but we don't want you to know what is the key. The wallet prototype is already ready for the market and trades only Bitcoin because it's the most common transaction. But what we have in the wallet, to have it fully decentralized, because we want no centralization, we are still using proper nodes, but we're developing this decentralized node of relay services that can allow messaging, HTTP post and HTTP get, nothing else, but that can allow wallet to talk to each other, and they will have their market on the dial chain. When I was looking at RChain, I was thinking maybe I can find, I'm still looking for a blockchain network that is so fast and so decentralized that we can use it at the foundation of the wallet also. I look at Bitcoin Cash and everything, and they are still not scalable enough the way we want it to be. That's why we're working on the dial chain. One minute, I'm not hearing you. No.
All right. Yeah, I was on mute, sorry. Yeah, this is very interesting. Now, I don't know, uh, one thing with RChain is we know theoretically how fast it can go. And actually, in some ways it's really going fast now. But we have to see your application, how fast that would be. Okay. If we just look at, the sends and receives, it's, like 1,000 times.
So I want to send you, I want to send you a message, Jim. I want to give this message to a server I don't trust, I don't know, but give that server a coin, right? The server has to redeem the coin and let you collect the message. The server does not know me. The server does not know you. The server trusts the signature of the coin and can let it verified in a blockchain network. So if I can have a blockchain network where I can push a coin to a server that can redeem it, if possible, under a second, and let the process go through, this will be excellent not only for our system, but for a lot of decentralized applications out there.
It sounds like an object capability.
Exactly.
The token is, we call, a token metaphor for an object capability. It's probably something that people can understand easier than object capabilities.
It's possible. I mean, again, we are looking at a lot of blockchain network out there, and seriously, it is difficult to find one that brings this principle of speed. Decentralization is missing. I mean, we look at Polkadot system, we look at the other layer ones, the anonymity of a token, because in UTXO, if I have $5, I'll give you $3, there are $2 left, I have to push into one of my change address, right? And the day I spend it, the association is on the blockchain. If I have a token, and that token has a single private key that is not reusable, once I sign and spend that token, I forget that private key, it moves forward to the next key, providing not the 100% privacy, but a way higher level of privacy than an account. So token-based system can help a lot with privacy than account-based system.
So it's essentially like a one-time key thing.
Yes, and there is this BIP32 in the Bitcoin world, hierarchical deterministic keys, where I can have one root key, and I can generate like thousands, hundreds of thousands of key using derivation paths, allowing me to keep one master key, but generate keys that are not correlated. And that can be used to exchange one time, and never reuse. This be used in the Bitcoin world. And this is the foundation of our wallet, even for the communication system in Web3. We never send two messages with the same key. You give me a master public key, I use it to derive single child public key for every single message I send to you. And we use something like a time-based one-time password to work. So at UTC, if we take every 5 seconds or every 10 seconds, I can generate with that number a key and produce a message that you can read, because you're expecting me to send something at that second. And that's how we create some waves that allow phones to be connected with each other, and everything we need are relay servers, untrusted, but that can earn some dial coin and allow us to work together. That's what we are doing, and we're looking for those basic platforms that we could use for the economy. If not, we'll have to operate it without an economy and bring the dial chain later in there to take place and allow for the fast transactions and movement of tokens.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, that is very interesting, and sounds like we could integrate RChain at some point.
I will look deeper at
for what you need. A question is RChain going to be mature enough in your time frame? And I think if you're looking at the end of the year, it should be. But you know, I hate to count chickens before they hatch.
Yeah.
Have you looked at Cosmos?
No, I haven't looked at Cosmos. And what I'm doing now, like I said, I have a proper company in Germany and I work a lot with universities. That means when I have a topic, I will first take it into the academic research area, doctoral students, master students, let them get deeper look at it because I don't have the whole time to dig deeper and have some discussion with them. Like I said, I don't want to reinvent the world. So whenever I look at something new, for example, I will never do smart contracts. I will have to use a smart contract platform somewhere else. So whenever I see one, I start pushing it in my academic circle and let students make diploma thesis on it so that when we get a better look at it, so we can have a better judgment, right? And then we can decide whether and how we can start moving into the direction. So I'm still in that explorative phase. And like I said, if I have some students, I talk with a lot of professors who want to write bachelor or master thesis, and one of you is ready for 1 hour per week to mentor a student to write a thesis on RChain, on an aspect of RChain, is great because it helps us dig more and even widen the base of users, right?
Yeah. That's excellent. And it looks like we're coming up to the top of the hour here.
Mm-hmm. I will get back to you anyway. Like I said, I will go deeper into it, try to jump into some of the sessions, or get back to you on Discord for a special session like this where I can ask for more questions and so on.
Yeah. And, you know, if we find out, you know, when you're available, we might be able to, get someone. I mean, obviously, the best thing would be to talk to Greg, who's the leader of RChain.
Okay.
He can be a little bit hard to get.
But I am flexible because in Florida, in the morning, I'm a lot on the line with Europe because my development team is in Ukraine and in Serbia, right? In the afternoon, I'm more flexible. So generally 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Florida time, it's easy to drop something and we have 90% chance to be free, to free the time to have a session.
Are you going to the in-person block spaces meeting?
I used to, but I'm very busy for the moment. I used to do, but I'm actually very busy. If you are going, I can see if I could, but normally I am extremely busy moving. I'm locked in my office and I work like 14, 16 hours in the office. Go out and eat and come and work and go and work a bit and come and work. So I am too busy. That's why I only get into the online, but I might drive over to St. Pete if there is one of them. If not, I'm always very, very busy.
Yeah, well, you know, my research area has been collective intelligence, and it seems that the emergent being is best face to face. I mean,
that's true. That's how.
Okay, you know, if you know, both of us are way too stupid to get the right answers, but maybe our collective being can get the right answers. And you know, I mean, you know, the video conferencing here is second best, right? We get
a lot.
We get a lot of the subliminal things, and we have no idea what it means or what it's for, but it enables our collective being.
I don't mind picking one of the afternoon and drive over to where you are. I really don't mind. It's sometimes better for me than that 7 to 9. If maybe I can take an afternoon and drive out, meet you somewhere, no problem. Just tell me. I can also do that.
Well, you're south and I'm north. That's why I was thinking meet in the middle.
We can also do that. We can meet somewhere in Tampa. And if there's any block space evening, we can go. If you are going, I might free the time to go. I just don't go all the time because I'm too busy.
Right. Yeah, well, we should, plan to get together, at least face to face, at least once a year, they say.
Okay.
That's once a year is what's needed for a decentralized organization to thrive. Once a year, face to face, at least.
Okay.
No, I don't know how,
I wish-
I mean, most of the findings are solider than that, but these are experiential from people that have studied hundreds of organizations, but
I wish I could join you by driving.
That is not obvious, right? For London, you have to swim. Driving will not work.
Be a long drive.
Okay,
Well,
Jim.
it's
so
great seeing you, and
bye.
we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.